You know how like people say like, oh, like when people sit with the what ifs and the negative, I know I do this a lot. But like what if it all works out? I'm gonna leave it like that. What if it all works out? What if like the best scenario ever happened? You need to have cheerleaders, whether that's like your best friend or like you have like a community on Facebook or like wherever. You need it, you need that like energy, right? And I feel like
Mhm.
that will assist you with those fears because your fears are valid. So with intuition, one of the things that I like to do and share is it's like as simple as like, what am I going to eat today? And like asking your body. And this is like a good
Mm.
exercise because I've done it before where it's like I'll sit and I'll ask myself, "Oh, Cynthia, like, what do you want to eat today?" And I'm getting this, but then I want this. And then I'm like, well, and then the other one that my intuition's not telling me, I go to there and then some fucked up shit happens and I'm like, damn it, I should have just went over here. I'm the type of person I like to meet trauma head on. You know, if I have a fear, I sit there, I look at it for 3 seconds and I'm already there. Like I'm jumping off the cliff already, you know? That's the type of person that I am. So, you know, you do you, whether that's through journaling, whether you're like me and you just want to go on and like let's just go on and get into it or whatever. Just make sure, like, going back to the root chakra and that support, it is so important. It does not have to be family. It does not have to be family. Whether it's a community, just you need like a cheerleader at least.
Did Mercury retrograde take out the whole comm systems, or?
Negative. Signal acquired. Prepare to connect. We've arrived at the goddess vessel, a sanctuary where divine wisdom and wild spirit dance as one. Prepare to enter a realm where soul truths bloom like constellations. Docking sequence initiated.
Hi there, Captain LA of the Ethereal Voyager. How are you
Hello.
doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Oh, I'm so awesome, and it's nice to meet others out here in this vast universe. You're the second
Absolutely.
person I've run into.
Nice, nice. It is such a vast universe, so you never know who you're going to run into. That's part of the
Absolutely.
discovery, right?
Yes, it's part of the magic.
Yes.
And I did have my AI scan your ship, and I see that you work with goddess activations.
I do. I do. Yes.
Ah, that's so cool. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, we carry the goddess seed on board and we activate. It is our mission to seed this into every woman on earth, to help them remember who they really are, remember their power that they were born with, and also where that came from, where they're connected, where they're rooted into. So, yeah, we do this through activations, we do this through clearance. Meditation, visualization. I have so many tools to help them do exactly that. So, yeah.
Oh, I think that's so great and something that is much needed in our world today. I think people really need to tap into the power that we all have innately
Yes.
within us. And
Yes.
so I think that you're doing awesome work. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what does it mean to be a goddess activator?
That's a great question. The way it came about. So first of all, I realized that my one of my frequency code, which is like what makes me, is activation, which means that I realized that whoever comes into my energy field or comes in contact with me gets activated. And then
Mm,
from there, I noticed my connection to the goddesses. And this happened because as I was growing up, one of my nickname was Goddess, which I had no idea what that
mm.
meant until I came to the US and started doing the work
Ah,
that I was doing. And I was like, huh, why did they choose that nickname for me? What is it that they knew that I had no clue about? And of course, on my journey I discovered I'm part of the God and Goddess Council, which is more about the purpose, what we're here to do. But I was like, interesting. They were picking up on something that I didn't know yet. But I also love bringing the goddess mysteries into the hearts of women to help them remember what it means to be a goddess. One thing I know about the goddesses is that they don't want us to put them on pedestals. This is what I
Mm,
love about them. And it's easy because in this world, we've put all of them up there. We're like, oh my gosh, you're a goddess, you're up here. And they're like, you're missing the whole point. We're here to
mm,
teach you something about, to show you something about how we lived, what was important to us, so that you can remember that in your life too. So
oh,
first step is like, get me off the pedestal. I don't belong there. I'm not interested in that. And then the second part was that there are goddesses who they were elevated into that status because of the journey that they took on this earth, which was
mm,
not easy at all. And then there are also goddesses, but they're more closer to us.
mm,
So for example, when you hear Mary Magdalene, it's like she
yeah,
lived and then she joined the Goddesses Council. Mother
mm,
Mary, she was a real person. So you get these, I call them like the real. I don't know why that's like the word, just to help me differentiate the energies. But
mm,
they are closer to us because I can actually go and find out their story easily. Versus
mm,
majority of the goddesses, they're more ethereal because most of
right.
them didn't come to Earth. They went to other dimensions, other planets, which are completely different from us. But the ones I guess that's how I can differentiate them. The Earth goddesses, the ones who took their journey on this planet, where we can actually go and find out their history and learn what it is about them and actually be like, oh, she was a woman just like me.
Mm,
And she experienced a hardship just like I did. That's it
mm.
hits differently, doesn't it? So
Yes,
yeah.
yes, it
Yeah.
absolutely
So
does.
yeah. I love bringing or helping women awaken to that wisdom and tapping into that wisdom so they can use that in their life. That's the whole purpose of it. That's why they're
Mm,
here. It's like, hey, you're going through this. Guess what? I went through the same thing. This is what I did. It kind of worked. You can try it. If it works for you, I'm here. Right? If it doesn't, we'll figure out another way.
right.
Like it just, we have so much support available to us if we're only willing to receive it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that can 100% resonate with what you said about them being earth like goddesses and going through that journey here and then elevating, and then what you said about as a youth already uh, life is really amazing. I've been learning this how everything is already laid out
Yeah.
and you get to piece the puzzles together as you go along the journey.
Yeah.
And how they called you goddess young, and you're like, well, I don't even know,
It's like,
like, what does
whatever.
that mean? But later it's like, no, this is what that means for you. And I had a similar experience with the title of this podcast. It started very young and resonating with me. I think I remember the first time it resonated with me. I forget that it's like old Eddie Murphy movie with like the little golden child kid. I don't know what the name of that movie is. It
I
was
think it was
really old.
Golden Child.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And there was something about that just kind of stuck with me. And then throughout life, like I just, everybody was like, oh, call me a monk. Like you have monk energy and, all of that. And then later it graduated to, oh, Buddha. And, and just looking back at that and piecing the puzzles together, it's like, no, it's not this random thing that just happened one day. This was a whole story to
Yes.
lead up to the activation.
Yeah. It is quite fascinating. Because I'm sure we're not the only ones who can look back now and be like, oh, that's why this happened, or that's why this. It is kind of, our soul knows how to leave breadcrumbs for us. but not so much that we get so overwhelmed that we reject everything. It's like little
Right.
bits to seed into our consciousness so that when we're ready to open it and receive it, it's like, oh, it was already there. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like the genius of our soul, the orchestration, that happens with our soul just is mind blowing.
Yes. And on that note, we're going to play a little interactive game. Uh, it is the Cosmic Wheel of Wisdom. So, we spin the wheel, it lands on a question, and you can answer it.
All right.
Right. You ready?
Yes.
All right. The
Oh.
Cosmic Wheel of Wisdom. All right. So, let's spin the wheel. Oh, let me find it. Okay, here we go. What's the name of your personal planet or star system?
Oh, interesting. I don't know if I should do like a. I'm originally from the Andromedan star system. So that's where my soul is from. And that's what
Mm,
I've always been connected to. I feel like I'm also connected to the Sirius.
mm.
Um, but yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Andromeda.
Oh, that you know what? That's so interesting because I do resonate with that as well. I
Yeah.
don't know particularly which planet I would say,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely that solar system. Yes,
Yes.
awesome. All right. So, if you could describe the energy of a divine feminine awakening in one word, what would it be?
Electrifying.
Mm,
That's what popped in immediately. Electrifying. And I feel like, think about a Kundalini awakening. It just, when all your energy centers are aligned and activated, and then the wisdom comes online, and you know who you are. I mean, everyone that comes into your energy, they're gonna feel it. They're gonna
mm,
feel that pulsating of your beingness. There's an electricity in the air when a person steps in and they everything is online and they know who they are. You just feel it. It
yeah,
would be
like
electrifying. Yeah.
magnetic.
Yes. Yes.
Love
Absolutely.
that. All right, so now I know you work deeply with like earth alchemy, and I don't really think that is truly talked about so much, right? I think that I was recently telling someone about a new meditation I've been trying. So I guess it's in a sense like connecting with the earth, so a form of earth alchemy. But yeah, it's like I've really been connecting with the core of the earth in this meditation. And through it, I've realized, like, I'm like, okay, so we're focused, like, a lot of times focused on helping people. But I really think we really just need to focus on reconnecting with the earth, and
Mm,
everything else will kind of work itself out through that.
mm-hmm.
Because this planet is very important to our survival,
Yeah,
obviously. We're tied to it very closely, and we need the Earth, but the Earth doesn't need us.
that's
So
true.
I've been feeling like really heavily needing to reconnect with the core essence of the Earth.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So the first step to earth alchemy is to connect to your body. Your body is the physical emanation of the spirit of the earth. And actually what is happening with our relationship with our body is what is happening with our relationship with the earth. We need to understand our body, and not just like how it looks physically and like how we dress it up, but to truly tune into the wisdom of it. that is our key to understanding the earth that we live on. You know, like that. If you look at every living thing on this planet, their connection with the earth is one, because that's just the consciousness they see themselves. So there's that. We are a life form that we have our own sovereignty. We have the
Yeah.
ability to be like, I am my own. And there's a reason for that. That's what we're here to experience. And so we have this body to remind us that we are connected to the earth, that we are one with the earth. Because if we came in as just spirit, we wouldn't understand that relationship. It would
Right.
just be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But through our bodies, we can truly understand the earth. You know, how we treat our bodies, how we listen to our bodies, its needs, and actually provide for it. It actually creates this, it creates something in you that makes you want to do the same thing with the earth that you live on.
Mm.
If you treat your body sacred, you're going to treat the earth sacred. There's this relationship there. So I think the missing piece for most people is that they jump straight into, I'm going to go and connect with the earth. And the earth is like, the moment they get to the earth is like, how's your body doing? Because
Mm.
the way for you to feel me the most is for you to bring in your body. Your body has to be online. So how's your body? So our body plays a huge role, not just in connecting to the earth, but also connecting to the ethers or the heavens or
Mm.
the celestial region. So we need to elevate our understanding and our love for our bodies in however way our bodies chose to be. Right? We're very
Mm.
concerned on the physical looks and how it
Yeah.
should be,
Yeah.
but there's a deeper wisdom that is itching to come out, that is itching to be shared, you know, to be heard, to be acknowledged. That is what is important. And I feel like that's where we're beginning to awaken to, if that
Mm.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting that you say that, because a part of the meditation that I'm doing, it actually starts from the universe, cosmos, right? I tap into that energy, bring it in through my body, and then release it out through the earth.
There you go.
And yeah, it's just been I really enjoy it. It's I get excited about it. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm really into this, because it's so healing
Yeah.
and grounding, and it just kind of reminds me of my place in this whole
Yes.
ecosystem of things.
Yes.
Uh,
One of
so
my
yeah,
one of
go
the
ahead.
non-negotiable meditations I teach my client is exactly that: rooting into heaven, rooting into the earth, but it merges within your body, and then
Right,
it kind of vibrates outward. That is
right,
so important. It's the merge and the dance between heaven and earth within yourself. Like that's
yes.
where it needs to be. So you are doing great. Yes.
Thank you, thank you. I just go with the flow of life, right?
Yes.
If it tells me to try this thing, I'll try it.
Yep. There's a purpose to it. Yes.
Yes. And so, how do you use earth elements to create transformation and healing?
There's so many ways. So, simplest, I'm just going to start with simple breath, breathing in the air into my lungs. You know, like when we just take that moment to just take a deep breath in and exhale, it resets us. That's air magic right there, right? When we drink a glass of water, I have mine right here. That's water magic. I can pray onto the water. I can set intentions and put it in the water. I can speak light language into the water, and it will go into my body and it will infuse every cell within my body. Water magic. I can do the same thing when I'm showering, where I bless the
Mm,
water and I allow the water to thoroughly rinse me, not just physically, but also energetically. We know how powerful water is. Fire magic, you know, when I am burning incense or when I actually create a fire outside and I'm, you know, burning the wood and connecting to the physical fire. You know, candle magic. Like this, that's like the element of fire. I love candle magic because it really brings in all the elements together. you have the
mm,
fire that comes in, you have the what do you call it, like the wax, right? That represents the body, the earth. You have the wick that connects heaven and earth, which is the fire and the wax, and then you have the air around it that allows the fire to burn. So it's a beautiful way to work with all the elements without even realize you're working with it. And when you notice this, next time you light in a candle, when you bring that fire in, think of the fire as the divine light, the divine fire. You're bringing that into your body. You're lighting up your channel. It's coming into your body. It's warming it up. It's healing. Such simple,
mm,
and yet such powerful magic right there, right?
right.
Our very being, what I'm trying to say is that our very being, what we do every day is magic. It is alchemy. It is transformation. We just have to do it intentionally.
Yeah.
That's the key. You have to do it intentionally. Like, I can just choose to just drink this glass of water and not do anything to it, and it will just be another glass of water. I can speak light language to it and it will take it to a whole different level. That's intentional. I choose because that's what I want to experience. Right. So, yeah, I think that's what you were asking. I feel like I was talking more about magic. So,
No, I
yeah.
mean, but listen, I mean, it's everything is magical, really, and like you said, it's the intent behind anything and
Yeah.
everything that makes it powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do candle magic, candle rituals. I definitely am a fire person. I love it. I like, yeah, fire and water.
Yes.
Those are my two things. So I grew up by the beach, by the ocean, and that's
Ah,
very healing to me. Um, I need that.
yeah.
And yeah, uh, I do my candle magic every day.
Yeah.
And it's just something so comforting about it. And it's definitely, I feel like, the way I connect with my ancestors.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I was going to share, one of the things that one of the components I bring into working with my clients. So, introducing them to their crystal mentor, their crystal guardian, and then they will go and buy the crystal. So, for example, this is like the lapis lazuli is my
Mm,
soul crystal, and I wear it every day. And I do that because the crystal itself holds wisdom for me. It's like it's here to support me and it's physical. And so I
mm,
will ask my clients to wear it, whether it's a ring or a necklace, and they just keep that support right next to them.
mm,
People don't realize how powerful that is. Again, it's intention, right? You can
yeah,
just buy a crystal and hold on to it and you will feel something. It will support you, but when you're aware of that crystal and you say thank you and you activate it, you clear it, because when you buy a crystal, please don't put it straight on. Like, clear
yeah,
it first, because a lot of people have touched it. It has absorbed a lot of energy. You don't want all of that. You clear it, you attune it to your energy by just holding it to your heart. And then you speak your heart into it. And that would just like amplify, like attune it to you, and also amplify its energy. It's like blossoms to you, and then it begins to support you specifically. And the more
mm,
you wear it on your skin, it's like, again, earth magic, right? Put it on your skin so that it's working with the earth, your body, right? It's supporting you with your body. And when I say your body, that includes your heart, your mind, like everything that has to do with the body.
mm,
So that's a simple way, crystals or even herbs, where, for example, roses, like getting rose petals and then putting
mm,
them. I used to teach my clients to create a sachet of herbs depending on what the intention is. So it might be roses for beauty or for opening the heart, rosemary for cleansing the mind, purifying the mind. Like, you put it together and you sew it, and then you put it in your bra and you walk around with it.
mm,
Again, it's like touching your body so they
yeah,
can support you in that way. Or if you can ingest the herbs, you can have rosemary tea, you can have rose tea, you can have, like, you can actually drink it so it can support you physically. So
mm,
it doesn't have to be complicated. It's something that we're
right.
probably already doing. You're
Mm-hmm,
probably already doing it and you didn't think it was magic,
Hmm.
And hopefully from this, like hopefully this elevates things for you. Next time you grab your crystal, you're like, oh, I know why you're here. Okay, thank you for being here. Continue to support me. Thank you for supporting me. Next time you're grabbing your tea, your rose tea, thank you, Rose. Thank you for opening my heart. Thank you for connecting me to the sisterhood of the oh my gosh, working with the roses, like, just it will open you up to so much more. There's, some
Hmm.
people are drawn to roses, and there's a reason for that. So whatever you're drawn to is
Hmm.
telling you who you are, is telling you what
Right.
you're here to do. Like, we got to
Mm.
listen to this. Just like what we're talking about at the beginning with the crumbs that we leave. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I must say I tried like rose hip and hibiscus tea for like the first time
Mm.
last month. It was so disgusting.
Ah!
I was like, oh my god, this is really horrible. I think it was so tart. Like,
It's the
uh,
hibiscus. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I was like, oh, but they're like it's good for your skin and all that.
And your
So I'm
heart.
like,
It's a heart
yeah.
medicine.
So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
trying, and well, that was a tough one. But yeah, I was rough. But on that note,
Oh,
though, like, okay, so for me, like my little rituals I do, I have gauges, and so I usually wear natural stone,
yes.
uh, granite type of gauges, and because for me, I can feel the energy, and it makes me feel more connected. And also I love herbs. I love tea. I love like fresh herbs. I
Yes.
literally am like a little rabbit slash bear. I could live off of like herbs and fruits and berries and nuts, and that's it. And
Yes.
I really enjoy the really earthy type of like, yeah, I love herbs. I love tea.
Yes.
um but yeah, like I said, I also love to eat fresh herbs. um but yeah, I was just thinking, it was weird because I was thinking about that the other day. Like I really like I love herbs. You know? um, yeah, but I mean, I guess there's a reason for that, right?
Absolutely. Your body needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your body needs, and I feel like you get a lot of the vitality when you eat it fresh too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You get the raw nutrients, I guess.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. I feel like dry herbs are good when you're just tapping into the energetic state of the herb. But if you really want the benefit physically, then find, like, if you can ingest that plant, or, yeah, if you can ingest it into your body, then you get the physical benefit as well. Even with the
Yeah.
raw ones, not the raw ones, the dried ones, you can still get the, because some herbs, when you dry it, it still like keeps the it still keeps, like, the, what word am I looking for, the nutrient value, let me just use that word.
Mm,
And so, yeah, some plants are like that, but there are others that when you do it too much, if you process it too much, it loses a lot of it. So you kind of have
yeah.
to be aware of that, which one would be better, fresh versus dry. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really love like Asian culture, Asian medicine, and
Yes.
so I do cook with a lot of like root herbs,
Yes.
things like that. And then like I do different things. So I'll like make the like soups and things like that that
Yes.
incorporate the cloves and cardamom
Yes.
and burdock and all of these things. And then I have like a million different types of teas. um I have all my little fresh herbs. I mean, I love it.
I
I
love
even
that.
yeah, and I wouldn't really. I grew up with always we had plants in the house.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah, my mom definitely does the plant thing, but I was never like a plant person, like,
Yeah.
but it's so funny. Recently, one of these plants adopted me. I just realized one day that everywhere I went, this plant was there. And I'm like, wait a second, like, how are you following me everywhere? I said, okay, I guess you adopted me. This is a
Oh, I
first,
love
but
that.
yeah,
I
I thought
love
that was
that.
cool.
It's kind of like when a crystal chooses you too. Have you, okay, so just as a plant or crystal can choose you, they can also say no, thank you. It's like you go
Mm,
get this is notorious for crystals, where you go and you find a crystal, you're like, this is beautiful, I'm gonna get it, and then you get home and it disappears, and you
yeah,
never find it again. And you're like, I put it right here. Where is it? And then that's it. It's gone. It's not. It
that
wasn't for you.
happened. That happened one time with a crystal ring I
Yeah.
got. It was so crazy because I was like, yeah, I want that. It's so cool. And then like 2 days later, I was working and then it just broke.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess your job is done.
Exactly. I was gonna
Yeah.
say if it breaks, it's done its work. It's
Hmm.
absorbed all the energy and diffused it. Some crystals will do that. If it
Hmm.
disappears, it's saying, no, I'm not for you, dude. Like, cut it out.
Uh,
Like, stop it. I'm not for you. That's when it disappears, because it usually will go find someone else that needs it.
mm,
And it's the same thing as when you find a crystal out of nowhere. And it's just laying there, like, oh, this is cool. And you're like, how did it get here? Yeah, it disappeared from someone and it got to you.
mm.
So
You
they
know what?
are, this is what I'm talking about, the consciousness. They have consciousness and they know what they can help you with. And they usually
Mm,
will let you know. I usually tell my clients that when they go to, let's say, the metaphysical store to get a crystal, hover your hands around it. You will feel it. The one that literally grabs you is the one that says, I'm here for you. And that's the one you
mm,
get. If it repels you or makes you feel sick, or you just like, it's not for you. And this, like,
mm.
don't take it personally. It's just,
Right.
yeah, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not everything's for everybody. That's something we got to
Exactly.
understand,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, and what's interesting is I actually never have a whole collection of crystals, but I didn't buy any of them. They were all given to me.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like people are just like, hey, oh, I thought about you. Here's this crystal. I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
And then
Have
I
you
just
looked
started
into the
collecting
meanings
crystal
of
books.
them?
Hmm?
Have you looked into the meanings of the crystals?
Oh yeah, I looked up all of them, and some of them I actually thought they were the same, but none of them are. They're all
Ah,
different,
their
and
own. Yeah.
yeah, and they all do different things, and yeah, I have a whole collection.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, you guys think I need crystals? Sure.
Yep.
All
I
right,
love it.
so let's play a quick alignment game.
Okay.
Think of a time when the earth guided you through transformation, maybe like a moment in nature, or connection with the moon, or even like lessons from the elements. But what was it, and how did it shift your perspective?
Hmm. I'm trying to think about, because I feel like my transformations usually happen. How should I say this? They're more spiritual transformations than, well, spiritual transformations that come down to physical. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So let me try to find an example.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of a recent one. Not that recent, it would be like a year or two ago, where I went through, I would call it like a soul death, where it's just, you feel like every known part of you disintegrates into the earth. And I remember like moving into the heart of the Divine Mother, and she just out me there. And physically, like I was a mess, like just crying, like in grief, like, who am I? What am I doing? And I remember looking up, because it was like I was in the earth and looking up, and my guides standing there. And it's like they wish they could just reach in there and kind of take away the pain, but they know I had to move through it. Right.
Hmm.
You go through something like that, and it will change you. It would change the way you see the world. It would change the way you move through your life. It would change the way you open up to life too. Um, and the way you serve.
Yeah.
It changes the way you serve, the way you show up for your clients, the way you show up for your friends, your family, for the world. It changes that too. I feel like these intense experiences that we usually get, like I call it a soul death because I felt like something died, an old part of me
Yeah.
died. Um, it purifies you. It kind of, it's like this distillation, removing what needs to go, giving you time to grieve that, and then you learning how to step into the new. Right, it's a whole process to that. I feel like for like months after that, I felt like I was a little baby walking around the earth, like trying to figure out my stepping again. That's how I
Yeah.
felt, like figuring out me, figuring out my life, figuring out. And we go through this more than we think. It might be on a smaller scale, or that there's times where it's like that earth-shattering transformation that you're just like, I
Yeah.
cannot see life the same way ever again, right?
Yeah.
And we have to welcome them. For me, it's a non-negotiable. I always tell people this. It's like, I don't care if I have to walk through the fire to get to where I know I need to be. Even if I'm kicking and screaming, I will walk through that fire. That's just
Right.
me. Right. Like, we all have choice. We can be like, nope, no, thank you. And then there'll be a different, thing that we have to deal with later.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, I understand why I have to move through that, why I have to move through the intensity sometimes, the uncomfortable emotions, right? I know I have to move through it because I know where I'm heading. And I have a glimpse of what it is that will feel, and that's what I'm craving. And I won't let
Mm.
anything stand in my way of that, including the hard stuff. I am not afraid of the hard stuff. I've had plenty, and I will continue to, because I understand the purpose of it. I am here to not just do this grand work for the world, but for me to also live and thrive. And I want my generation to also live and thrive. Most of the
Mm.
work that I do on myself is so that my son will never have to experience some of that generational stuff.
Yeah.
I'm clearing my bloodline. I'm clearing my tree of life. And because I'm doing the work on myself, I can show up in the world the best that I can.
Attention cosmic wanderers and part time dimension hoppers. Struggling to keep your energetic elements in check? Accidentally setting off solar flares with your fire magic? Meditating so hard you phase through dimensions? The Intergalactic Council presents the Elemental Mastery Initiative. Through the ancient but totally relevant arts of earth alchemy, galactic energy transmutation, and duality balance, you'll finally learn how to master the forces of the universe without short circuiting your aura. Because let's face it, even starseeds need stability. Sign up today and receive a dragon-etched philosopher's stone, hand-carved by quantum monks in a reality where time doesn't exist, infused with planetary frequencies to keep your energy in perfect harmony. This mystical artifact ensures you won't accidentally manifest yourself into another timeline. Intergalactic Elemental Mastery, because you can't just burn sage in zero gravity.
The more work I do on myself, the more self realized and conscious I am, the better I can step in the world and support others. It's just as simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I I definitely feel like you said, we all go through those death rebirths, and they might not be like huge, monumental moments. Um, but it's that one that changes everything, right? And I was studying myself, which I say that everyone should really
Yeah.
study
Yes.
every area of yourself. Get a full spectrum picture of who
Yes.
you are, and that will change your life. That will change how you operate. That will change how you interact with people. That will change how you do everything, right?
Yeah.
Because now you know who you are,
Yes.
what you're here for, what you're capable of doing. And, yeah, so first and foremost, yes, study yourself. But in studying myself, I found that every 6 years. I go through 6 year cycles.
Yeah.
So literally, I have a death rebirth every 6 years. And
Wow.
yeah, I know, right? Oof. But the they're not usually so massive,
Yeah.
except for this last one. And so
Mm.
usually what would happen is on the 6 year, like when it's transitioning to the next cycle, then something will happen in that moment, and then the cycle starts, and I'm just, living life until I start the cycle all over again. But
Yes.
this last one, I hit the cycle, and then it never ended, and it was just like a rough 6 years. I'm like, oh
Wow.
wow, like it started and it's not stopping. It's just rolling with the punches. But it was because it literally changed the entire course of my life.
Yes.
It,
Yeah.
it broke down all of the old structures. And so it needed to take that time to really break it down. And like you said, I, went through my, Kundalini experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and I went through my moments of where I said, okay, yeah, I totally lost my mind. I broke. I really like I can't even go inside the grocery store without like breaking
Yeah.
down crying. Like, what's wrong with you? You know,
Yeah.
but it was like a bliss also with extreme sadness, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
literally like a psychopath. I'm like, oh my god, like how am I crying? But then the next moment I'm like, but wait, I feel so much love.
Oh.
I was like, I feel so crazy.
Yeah.
I was very happy when it balanced itself out,
Yes.
but for
Yes.
a while I was like, yeah, I don't know.
I we kind of have to go through the intensities to understand. So, for example, like the most of the happiest people, I'm talking about genuinely happy, have known the saddest of the sad. Like they understand what it means to be down there in the dark, the deepest of grief, the deepest of sadness. That's how they've been able to achieve also the height of happiness or joy, I should say. Right. So there's this dual. We came here to understand the duality. We cannot escape it. With every light there's darkness, with every darkness there's light. They cannot live without each other. They're constantly in a dance, and we have to think of that within ourselves, within our lives. And I love that you said we're steadying ourselves. You have to steady up. You have to. The unfolding of your own mystery is the most fascinating thing you will ever learn. I'm telling
Yeah,
you. It's like
it's like a
it
movie.
just
Yeah,
it is the best thing you ever learn. It is more fascinating than anything that could ever happen in the world. I'm telling you.
yeah,
You are a mystery unfolding. There's so much to you that you have not even tapped into, just even a tiny bit of it. Learning about who you are, like that's something that I love that you said. Like that's something I will never stop doing.
right.
I'm fascinated by the way I think, talk. Like I watch myself a lot. It's like this conscious watching, and where it looks like
Yeah,
you're outside of yourself watching.
mm,
I do that a lot. It's like remote viewing my own self, but I'm
yeah,
steadying myself. We have to spend that time to do that, to understand our own selves. If we don't get ourselves, then how the heck are you going to understand someone else?
right, right.
Even when you like know a little bit about who you are, look at how hard it is to understand someone else. The
Yeah,
more you know yourself, the more you're going to be anchored in your truth. The more you're going to step out there in that truth, which means that that's going to vibrate out and attract all who are in resonance with your truth. So then you end up with people around you who get you.
yes.
Like I'm telling you, this inner work stuff, it's not woo woo, it's not whatever words that they use for it.
Yeah,
This
I know. I hate that.
oh my gosh, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't get me started on the woo woo, because I'm like,
Yeah, you
just because
know,
you don't understand it doesn't make it woo
exactly, exactly. I feel like it's a bypass word for spiritual,
Right.
for spiritual work that you have to do. But
Hmm.
we have, I feel like, we have mastered too much what it means to be physical, to the
Mm,
point that the pendulum have swung too way off about what it means to be human, what it means to be this physical being, and we've forgotten that we need the spiritual aspect. Who are you as a spiritual being? I tell my clients that spirituality has nothing to do with what guru you're studying under,
Yeah.
how you dress, what nicknames you have. Spirituality is about who you are in the divine. Can you figure that out?
Mm,
Spend that time to figure that part out, and that's your spirituality. If
right.
through, maybe it might be through meditation, you get to tap into that version of you. Yes, maybe it might be through running. You're going out there running, you can tap into all that is, and you feel expansive. You feel your senses. Then that's what your spirituality is. Like, we need to step away from what the picture that has been drawn for what spirituality should be, in a way, like this weird
Yeah.
illusion thing that is messed up. And we need to start tapping into, oh, spirituality is, it means me as spirit. Well, what does that even look like?
Right. Yeah.
Right, we need to start doing that. And that's what we, like you and me, we've been working on, not just physically understanding ourselves. But this came in, it's like you cannot truly understand your physical beingness without understanding your spiritual self. The two go hand in hand. It's like having a mind without a heart,
Mm,
or having a heart without a
yes.
mind. Like, they
Yes.
need each
Yeah.
other. They
I
need
was
each other
literally
to survive.
just talking about the brain heart coherence with the last guest. And I
Mm.
was talking about how, well, when you're in a moment where you're unsure, you're uncertain, and your head, your heart, they battling it out well. You can be brain dead and still be alive, but you can't be heart dead and still be alive. So that's the more powerful one. You want to listen to your heart, because your heart, that powerful energy is really the thing that connects you with the all of everything.
Yes.
And you want to balance that out. It's not like you want to disregard your head, your brain, but definitely if there is a situation where you're like, well, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
you want to go with your heart first. And I want to also touch on what you said earlier
Yeah.
about, happy people. They generally have gone to the deepest, darkest places. And it's really interesting, because I was just thinking about this yesterday. Like, um, they were very happy. Like, I am really happy.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I am very like the deep dark. Like, I like
Mm.
stuff. you know.
Yeah.
Um yeah, yeah. The darker the better. And
Duality.
I yeah, right. I like to go deep into that, and
Yes.
I feel like because I allow myself to explore that, then I can just be openly free, because I'm not really holding on to anything there. I just go deep down that,
Yeah.
and but yeah,
You
I was
got
like,
it.
oh, I'm a little, I like the macabre.
I love it. What you're saying is exactly it. We have to explore, give our emotions space. We've kind of closed the door. Majority of people have closed the door on what seemed to be, what word am I looking for? It's like, it's not the norm in society, so they shut the door on it.
Mm,
Whether it's, someone who's truly like born happy, and they're always having,
right.
someone's like, why are you always happy? That's not normal. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm not supposed to be that happy. And they
Mm,
begin to dim it and dim it and dim it. And then, they go through this metamorphosis where it's like, wait, why did I do that? That's not my truth. And then they have to like shed it all. And then they're like,
mm,
oh, this is who I am, because I'm here to share joy with the world. And I'm always
right.
going to be this way. And it's okay. Right. It's like
Right.
this level. But we are born with our truth. Like, watching my son grow up, I'm like, he's telling me exactly who he is,
Yeah.
unfiltered. I need to
Yes.
listen. I need to look. I need to pay attention, because he's telling me everything. We were all
Mm,
born that way, where we're like, here I am. And then, majority of us did not have, the support around her is like, oh, I see you. How can
yeah.
I
Right.
support you in this? We got the,
Right.
no, that's not real. No, that's
Mm,
not supposed to be. No, nobody's going to accept that. And then we shut it down. And so, majority of us, our generation is like the awakening, right? We're
mm,
waking up, we're going back to the truth of who we are, right? But
yes.
when we shut down our emotions, that blocks us from also tap it into the height of the other part of it. So, if, for example, sadness, feeling sadness, you're like, oh, I can't feel sad. I can't cry because that means I'm soft. Well, guess what? You're blocking yourself from also experiencing joy and happiness.
Right.
They go hand in hand, they work with each other. The deeper you allow yourself to move into that sadness and ask the questions, why am I sad? Where is this coming from? Is this even mine? And if it is not mine,
Right.
how do I release it? Like, the more you work with it, you're also opening up over here, tapping into more joy. Like, it's such a, it's an interesting journey to take, you know, but we have to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that. And I love what you said about uh, how we come into this world,
Yeah.
exactly as who we are meant to be. And the fact that you're able to look at your son and be like, well, I accept you, I embrace you, let me learn, like, let me listen to who you're telling me who you are. Because a lot of, I'll say, like, my parents and, I'm sure many others, they didn't
Yes.
really do that. So, yeah, I love to see when our generation break those cycles,
Yeah.
right, for the new younger generation. I
We're
think
doing our
that's
best.
amazing.
It's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a learning. You're learning as you go, and that's you're doing your best.
Exactly.
That's all you can do.
Yep, that's
But the
all we
fact
can
that
do. Just
you're even doing that,
yeah,
that's drastic. Like,
yeah,
you're already shifting everything. You're already changing the dynamics, the inner workings, the
yeah.
DNA, right? So yeah.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And also, another thing you said about spirituality, and this was my thing, actually getting into social media, or like
Yeah.
really exploring spirituality outside myself, because I'm a
Yes.
very internal person. I really don't take in a lot of external information.
Yes.
Uh, I really am a monk, but
I
I,
love it.
I am. I can accept it now, like, but that was. It took me a minute, but um, yeah. On that, I was very confused, because it it's almost like commercialized.
Oh
It's
yeah.
almost it's lost. Like, I don't think people truly. I try to think of a good way to put this.
Yeah. Speak it out as it
Yeah,
is.
but I don't think people really understand the essence of spirituality.
Mm,
I don't, like you said, it's not in an aesthetic. It's
yeah.
not in your divination tools.
Yep.
It's not in the gurus, right? And I really feel like you have guides in this life,
Yes.
but there is no person, no human that you should ever look up to. Ever.
Mm,
I just, I've never had idols. I've never looked. I just could
yeah.
never understand, like, why, like, how do these people, like, for instance, say celebrities,
Yes.
and people go crazy over them, and it just didn't click in my head.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why? They're a person,
Yep.
just like you.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
I'm the same way.
right, and yeah, I just was like, I don't get it, but I feel like you get messages and
Yeah.
guidance
Yeah.
through people, experiences, and they are meant to be in your life, for the reason, the season, maybe the
Yeah.
lifetime. Um, but we have to, it's a very internal
Exactly.
experience and journey.
Yeah.
And we have all of the knowledge, the resources within us. But I do feel like people help activate things.
Yeah.
So it's important to have those people that can help guide you, but
Yeah.
do not give yourself to those people. Like, they are not
Yeah.
your God. You just, yeah.
And I kind of understand why that happens, and I teach my clients because I also work with empaths. It's like, when you're out there, let's say you're in your light, you understand yourself, like you're in your element, and people step into your energy and they're like, oh my God, I can't get enough of this. Well, someone comes into your energy and they're lacking exactly what you have. Well, what's going to happen? Well, I love it when I'm around you, so I'm going to keep close to you. and then they're constantly with your energy to, if that person is conscious and aware, they can use that energy, or that, oh, I wanted to say influence, but I don't know if that's the right word, from the that person, to help
Yeah.
them to create their own, because that's the purpose
Right.
of it. Like, I feel like most of the gurus, they're not, well, with the exception of the ones that don't have good intentions in mind.
Right.
Like, they're there to be like, hey, I am you. What you see in
Hmm.
me is within you, and I'm
Right.
teaching you how to tap into that. But there are humans who are comfortable following, and
Yes.
it would take a lot for them to move out of following to being a leader, which it doesn't even mean leading others. It's just leading your own self, your own life. That is what leadership is. It starts with you and your life.
Right.
And I feel like these beautiful spiritual teaching, I'm talking about the true ones, not,
Hmm.
corrupt ones. They're there to be like, what you see in me is exactly what is within you.
Right.
That
Like
that's
Jesus,
that's the
and
message.
they misconstrued that all up.
Yeah.
But Jesus was an amazing mystic, teacher,
Yes.
guide. But yeah, and he's like telling them like, I am God and you are me, so
Right?
that makes you God.
Therefore, you're God.
And and they're like, yeah, so Jesus is God, and yeah, we worship Jesus now. And it's like Jesus is turning over, like, oh my God, like this is not
Exactly. No,
even
seriously.
what I was trying to say, and then you guys had a nerve to kill me for it, and now you're worshiping me. But yeah, yeah,
It's true. And when you're connected to the ascended masters, you can see them doing that, like, oh, like, I don't know how
yeah,
many times my guys are like, oh my gosh, like, seriously, that's exactly it. Because all of them, the goddesses, the ascended masters, all these beings, spiritual teachers that we put on a pedestal, they're like, you need to listen to me. You only see me. You're able to experience me because I am you. I am within you. I am you. So the amazing, and let's just even bring it to physical. When I meet someone out there and I'm like so drawn to them because I love the energy, it's like, wow, you are beautiful. You're a beautiful
mhm,
creature. And then I love saying that, by the way, you're a beautiful creature. I don't know why. And it's like, oh, they're reflecting to me something about
mhm,
me too. We're all reflecting, each other to each other. That's part of the work. We reflect our shadows to each other, we reflect our light. So when you're able to see light in someone, please just pause and be like, oh, that is exactly the light within me. Thank you. Thank
mhm,
you for showing me what I couldn't see. I think in the Japanese culture, they have this thing, the rice ball, where there's the story of the rice ball where, they have different fillings in there. And there's, they're all playing around this rice ball that has like, I don't know, it's not a cherry. It's like this fruit that everybody loves, and
mhm,
she's just walking around. She thinks that she doesn't have any value because she doesn't look like the
mhm,
other rice balls. And then one day someone comes to them and looks behind them and says, you have the most prized feeling within you. Like, what are you doing? But the rice ball couldn't see it because it's behind her. It's the same
mhm,
thing with us. So people mirror to us what we cannot see. And if we pay attention, we can use that to heal ourselves, and we can use that to also elevate ourselves.
mhm.
And also
You
repel
know,
those who shouldn't be there.
yes, exactly right. Well, yeah, exactly right. Yeah, like that, like the story of the ugly duckling, right? If
Yes.
you think you don't fit in, but may hey, you're around the wrong people. Those aren't your tribe. Um,
Yes.
and then also that's very interesting. I don't know. Uh, I talked to a lot of people, so I don't know who I told this story to. But anyway, I had this dream more recently. Like I did, I want to say I remember about 90% of my dreams, and they're very like I get my messages through music and dreams. Um,
Yes.
and this one dream, it was very interesting. It was like I was over my sister's house, and she had these two bracelets. One purple. So what would that be? They were crystal bracelets. So
Okay.
I don't know what purple. It was a purple and a blue one. So um anyway, so I'm like heading out, and she's like, "Oh wait, I have these two bracelets, and you have this bird bracelet, which I'm like, what? You're a bird bracelet. What are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, you have this bird bracelet, and I just wanted to know if we could swap out bracelets because the bracelet, like these are like many of
Mm.
many, but the one you have is like one of many, so it's really rare. So I just wanted to know if you could swap out the bracelets with me, and I'm like, well, what are you talking about, bird bracelet?
Yeah.
See you later. I don't know what you're talking about. Excuse me. And the dream ended, and I woke up, and I was like, "What? Her bracelet? What are you talking about? I don't." But I get the point of the dream, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much saying, "Okay, listen, we all got these gifts,
Yes.
and you got to understand that the gifts you have are rare,
Yeah.
and embrace that because what you don't see, other people see.
Yes,
We have a
exactly.
tendency to, especially like it's you, right?
Yes.
You've been this way your entire life, and so you're like, well, this is just what I do, and it's like, oh, but hmm, not everybody does that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to embrace your gifts, but
Yes.
it's like when something comes natural to you because it's the way that you are, you may have a tendency not to really see it for what it is. um
Exactly.
yeah, so
I
that's what
think
I gathered from the dream.
absolutely. No, you got it. Yeah. It's yeah. It's like you cannot compare a rose to let's say what is another flower, a tulip. They're
Mm,
all beautiful flowers in themselves, and you never see the rose being like, you don't look like me, like you don't smell like me. It's like, no, I'm a tulip, you're a rose.
right.
We understand that. It's a I think that's what we're working towards, is you know, acknowledging ourselves, our own gifts, our own light, and then being okay with others, even though it does
Right.
not look, it's not supposed to look like ours. If we're lucky, we'll have our soul family and then we'll have the resemblance. But even that, we're all unique in that same frequency, right? So
Yeah.
we need to, I think we're working towards a place where not only do we accept our own uniqueness, but we also accept others' uniqueness even though they're different from ours. Now that would
Mhm.
be amazing.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
starts with our
yeah.
own community, our own family, our own friendship groups. If we can do that, then it kind that micro gets in the world. It gets multiplied in the world in some way, shape, or form. Right? We always have to
Yeah.
start here, and then it ripples out. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's like one of my gifts, superpowers. Well, I am a in the human design. I am
Yes.
a projector, so yeah, I project
Rare.
things back to people.
Yes.
But also with that is I am able to see all the potentials and
Yes.
possibilities, and so I love, like, generally love, like meeting people and observing them and being like, oh, this is your gift, talent, skill, and ability,
Yes.
and helping them embrace that. And also more recently, I'm learning like, yeah, you know what? Actually, like when I interact with people and especially if they're in my life for some time, I usually uh, leave them better than when I
Yes.
came. And
Yes.
so my gift is luck and expansion.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that makes sense because literally I can go back as far as I can remember, and every person that I've met, and especially the ones that I spent some time with, uh,
Yes.
yeah, their life was different after they left. After, well, I'm a Rolling Stone,
Yeah.
but yeah, but once I parted ways, I was like, oh well, you're good now. You
I
you don't
love
need
that.
me. I'm on to the next.
Yeah. Can you imagine if more people were aware of that and also did that? How amazing this
Yes.
world would be. Because we all have the gift. We all
Yeah.
do. But first step, we got to know ourselves, to know our gifts,
Yeah.
and then know see how that gift fits into the bigger picture, and just embrace it. That we all
Hmm.
have our own. We're all rice balls with unique stuff behind us, different
Exactly.
gemstones behind us that we can't see, but someone can see it and tell us. And
Hmm.
we can use that to be like, oh. But I feel like even as I'm telling that story, it's like we have the luxury of just going within to figure it out anyways. We don't
Right.
need someone to tell us. that
Mm.
comes in when we're having a hard time going within our own selves. This is
Right.
where the teachers will come in. This is where the
Mm-hmm.
guides will come in and be like, hey, let me show you. Maybe this will
Mm.
help you. And then you can go within and find your own. Right. That's the
Mm-hmm.
purpose of teachers. That's why I do my work. My work is not for me to do your stuff for you, but I'll
Right.
show you the tools that you need so that you can break your own way out. And then from
Right.
that point going on, you're like, I'm not scared. Bring it on. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
I will get this rock out of my path. I will get
Right.
this obstacle off my path because I have everything I need to move through it. And
Mm.
that's the purpose of true teachers. They're here to reflect to you what you already are and then show you the tools that can help you fully embody it so that you get to a point that you don't even need them. You become your own teachers. Yeah.
Right. It's like the story of the fish, right?
Yes.
You could either give someone a fish or teach them how to fish.
Yes.
And we need to teach people how to fish. And
Yeah.
that's what true teachers do. And
Yeah.
like you said, the corrupt ones are like, oh, rely on me. I can give you the fish.
Yeah.
And the other ones are like, no, let me show you how you can do this yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so,
I
yes.
see, going back into, we keep going back to this, the topic of duality, right? Because even in that,
Mm,
with the two different types of teachers, the ones who are empowering and the ones who are taking the power, right?
mm,
That's a big way to grow right there. Because the people that go through that experience of following, let's say, a guru, and then they find out, oh my God, that was not a good person. And then they
mm,
separate, like it creates a strength in them. It
mm,
allows them to begin to recognize the truth that they are and the truth
mm,
within others. Like it awakens something within. This is the beauty of the duality. I think we don't quite understand what when we hear dark and light, we tend to think bad and good. But there's a
yeah.
purpose to each of them that we can't quite understand with our human mind.
Mm,
Like the dark teaches us big lessons that helps us grow exponentially. The light will do that too, but I feel like the light comes in, it's like, hey, I got you. You did good. You
yeah,
did
yeah,
good.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Nurture you and just help you really root it down. But the dark helps you to get through, like build some big fortitudes to support, like to help you through your life so you can be strong and courageous and all of that. Like that's why we have dark. That's why we have dark in this reality. And of course, there's some dark
Yeah,
that is like beyond us. That's not our job. That's the
yeah,
job of the angels and the archangels and the divine. Like that, we don't need to go there. But
yeah.
what is accessible in this reality is here for a reason. That's what we need to understand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so interesting you brought that up because a few things. Like one, like one of my favorite guilty pleasure shows is Supernatural, and
Yes.
I love Supernatural. Oh my god, it's so campy, but I love it.
Yes. I love it.
And the one thing I really loved towards the end of the seasons is when they introduced the darkness as the
Mm,
opposition, the partner to God.
yes.
She was
Yes.
his sister, and turns out, right, that God was the corrupt one, and the darkness was like, well, I just exist, and I'm just trying to live my life over here existing, and he's over here plotting and planning, and it was the way they flipped it on its head.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, because people think that the darkness is because of programming, right?
Yes.
Um, but really, the let's just talk about, let's see, dark matter, dark energy. It
Yes.
is abundant. It is everywhere. It is
Everywhere.
expansive, and it that's where you, like you said, that's where you grow. And then when you come out of that, the light shines down on you, like you said,
Yeah.
gives you a little warm hug, like, yeah,
Yes.
you're doing good. Yeah. And so,
Yeah. It's the same thing
yeah.
like the womb. We came from that dark. It's like we really have to redefine what that is. Yes, I think what most people are saying bad, dark is something else. It's his own thing. But
Mm,
what we're talking about here is the womb darkness, the
mm,
earth darkness, the darkness that we need, the darkness that the seeds need in order to grow into a big plant.
right. That,
We all
yeah.
need that. And that's
That
what manifests
gestation
into the
period.
physical
Yeah.
reality to help us to also grow and heal. That's a different dark. That's like the womb of the divine mother. Let's just put it that way. Right? That's what it is. Um, we got to honor that. The other dark is there, but that's something that is way beyond us, and hence why we have powerful beings that fight that. We don't need to take that
Mm,
on. And sometimes
right.
that dark pours into the reality, and there are angels in this reality who still fight that, like. But we gotta really look at things differently. We gotta rethink things. We need to really ask, why do I name this that? What is the purpose? Because it's here. What is the purpose? Why is it here? When we ask questions, this is where the truth can come in. When we just accept things for what they are, then it just kind of stunts everything. And we never really understand what the truth is about
Mm,
it. Yeah.
yeah, I 100% agree. And so, on that, actually, I feel like one of the things people struggle with is breaking free from self-limiting, self-imposed restrictions, all of those things, from deep-rooted fears, trauma, conditioning, and all of those things that keep people stuck from because they're not going into that dark space, right? Facing those shadow
Yes.
selves, right? And so, um, yeah, I just feel like inner child healing is very important. Facing shadow aspects of yourself is very important, like I said, because you have to understand, learn yourself. And so all of those areas are, a part of you. And yeah, I feel like it seems simple, right? To just go back and just work through, like, you are just the third person looking at your life, just watching. But it's like people really are like, oh, I can't. Like, it's painful. And I think one of the other things for me that I just realized, like, somebody was like, sadness is also a gift, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to go to the darkness, the deep, and face that. Like, I mean, like I said, I was depressed most of my life, so I was always constantly in that state. So I
Yes.
had to face it all the time,
Yes.
to just be like, oh, I'm going to wake up today,
Mm.
Um, so I think that kind of helped me, um, but I do understand that it is uncomfortable for a lot of people, and so, what do you think are the most common energy blocks that people face when they're trying to break free or transition to that next phase of life?
Well, I think the first step is, or the first thing is, do they believe that they can even make that transition? Do they even see what that next level is going to be? Because if you don't, then it's hard for you to be like, well, I'm going to change. It's like, what am I going to change into? Where am I going? Right? We need something. We need that North Star to be like, hey, even though it's dark here, look up. That's where you're going. Just follow it. Right? We need something to get us there. So if someone is just living their life, some going with what people tell them do this and they do it, and that's all they've known, and you come in and you're like, hey, you're meant for more. What
Mm,
does that mean? Like they need more
yeah.
than that.
Mm,
I feel like that the journey begins when we begin to question. For example, if you're in a job and you've been in there forever, even though you've been miserable, one day you wake up and you're like, why am I doing this? Just stop question. You're like, why am I doing this? All of a sudden you go to work and you see something that your coworkers are like, I would love to do that more. Actually, I like that one. Or I don't want to do this. You begin to see the things that you love and the things you don't. It would show you both. And then through that, you're like, I want this. No, I don't want that.
mm,
It's a process. It's not. And maybe that's the second part is that people think it's like, oh, I want to change. And so you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, I did it. And it's
right.
like this jump and you're done. And it's a journey, right? Everything that each day you wake up, the choices that you make, it all helps you go the right direction. It's like you take that step in the right direction. That is the key there. It's like the little steps you take in every day is what will get you to where you want to be. It's not a leap. Like I jumped in and I woke up and I'm good. That would be amazing. Yeah, we would both so do it, right? But it's the journey, because the journey is really what holds the golden nuggets,
Yeah.
the fulfilling aspect, the is the place that is rich. That's really where we need to focus our energy. So transformation transitions, they're not easy, and they're also not a one step. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and feel better. I'm gonna do an activation, and next day everything is gonna be okay.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
takes a process, right? You're gonna wake up. Sometimes, I'll do an activation for someone. They wake up and they feel worse than they did before, and they have to move through that emotions. They have to move through, the sorting out of what is not and what is. What do I
Mm.
want? What do I don't want? Especially if you don't have that awareness of that, of yourself, of what you need, what you desire. If you don't have that awareness of that spirit life, your guides, your own soul will show you that, will show you what you don't want. And through that, you will realize what you want. And then from there, if you keep choosing, doing more of the things that you want, the things that bring you joy, the things that light you up, that's going to lead you to where you need to be. But it's the choices. Today, what do you choose? You can look at all the to-do lists. You look at the first one and you feel like crying. Please don't do that one first, And then you look down and you see number 10 and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do that. Please do that one first, because that is going to open up so much for you, so that you can actually tackle the part that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
We need to we need to start following what brings us joy,
Yeah.
whatever that is, whether it's crocheting, cooking,
Hmm.
whether that's going for a run or a jog. I don't care. Swim, writing, crafts. I don't care what it is. The things that bring us joy is so pertinent to our growth. We need that as much as we need growth.
Hmm.
Without that, this journey, it would just be like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
It is the light. It is truly the North Star that guides our way. We need to
Hmm.
do more of that. I mean, I feel like the basis of any transformation, if we could just do the things that we love to do, it would be so much easier for us to move into who we're here to be. Transformation comes in when, I mean, think about transformations, like you have to let go of all the stuff that is blocking the light from getting to you. You have to remove all the layers of the jackets that you've taken on that are not even your fit or for you. You have to shed. There's a process of shedding, and then after the shedding, then you're like, oh, there I am, right there, now I can see me, right? That's what transformation is about. So the thoughts, the emotions, the physical stuff, like what you have to let go in order to make room for more of you to come through. That's really
Hmm.
what transformation is.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. And I am blessed enough to have a 4 hour morning routine. Uh, I take my dog for a walk for a
Yeah.
good hour. I meditate.
Yeah.
Then I do my animalistic movements, which is my way of really connecting with my body and
Yes.
connecting with nature, right? To move
Yes.
like animals move, because as we get older, we don't really move like we did as a
Yeah.
child. And
Yeah.
so we lose so much flexibility. And it's
Yeah.
fun, right? It's fun to just kind of
Yeah.
move around like a monkey and just,
Yes.
it's like play. It's like being a kid.
It
And
is.
to start my day that way every day, I'm more productive. Um, two, definitely happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Three, I am focused and more in flow
Yes.
with my intuition and with my creativity.
Yes.
And so it's very important to me. I get a lot of crap. They're like, 4 hours? Yeah, I need all 4 hours. Okay.
Everyone is different. Maybe someone else, you just need 30 minutes and that will set you up for your day. You got to know what it is that you need. It might be that you need more than even 4 hours. Then that's exactly what you need. There's a purpose to that. So you take that for yourself. But you got to
Yeah.
know, it goes back to, what do you need? And are you going to honor that for yourself? Right? It's not
Mm,
really about how long you're doing it for, it's about what you're doing. and whether or not that is benefiting you, right? So when you find that
Excuse
and
me.
you dedicate to it, it doesn't matter how long it is, because at the end of it, you know the person you're going to be after you do that.
Yes. And so, yeah, I'm always in a great mood. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I can tell the difference when I try to cut it short because maybe I
Yeah.
have something to do that day. And it's like, yeah, I can really tell the difference.
Yeah.
So it's important to take that time out for yourself.
Yes.
And yeah, also like follow, like you said, your North Star, that guiding light. For so long, I was, you know, trying to figure it out, but I just really, I will not stay where I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And so to other people, it kind of seemed like I was a bit unstable because I'd just be bouncing around from here to here. But I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, I'm here. It worked. Now it's not working anymore. I'm going over here.
Yeah.
And I would just do that. People were like, hey, you're just wandering around doing whatever. And I'm like, this is my process.
Yes.
Respect my process and worry about yourself.
Yeah.
But that has worked for me to help me figure out my purpose and my passion.
Mhm. Yeah, you've recognized what your process is and you've dedicated to it, even though everyone around you is like, that's not what we're supposed to do, is it? What we're supposed to do? What? Wait, you're not
Yeah.
supposed to do that. Like all the chatter that goes, and you're like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep doing it. And that strength comes from, and you know this because you allow yourself to go in deep. You allow yourself to get to know who you are. When you are anchored in the truth of who you are, nothing outside of you can shake you or shift you or try to make you into anything that you're not, because you know who you are. It's as
Yeah.
simple as this is why it's so important for you, every one of us, to spend time getting to know you.
Yes.
It's so worth it. Like I can't
Yes.
even like stress that enough. It's like so worth it to walk in this world and know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
You move from being a tumbleweed, being blown around like a, with any wind that comes in. It's like, oh, here I
Right.
go. This wind
Yeah.
came in. Oh, I'm gonna go this way. Oh, but what about the way that you want to go? You become a
Mm-hmm.
tree. You become an oak
Mm-hmm.
tree, deeply rooted. Doesn't matter what wind comes in. It's like, I know who I am. Yeah, my leaves will shake a little bit because I'm curious. Okay, that's
Mm,
fascinating. But I know who I am. You're not gonna blow me out of this soil. That's who we need to be. When we tap into our own wisdom, when we learn who we are, where we came from, what we're here to do, we anchor into that truth, and then we are aware of our guides and like the layers of divine grace around us. Like, you're walking in the world like an oak tree, not like a tumbleweed. Majority of the
mm,
people are walking around like a tumbleweed, and you can see it because
yeah.
if the wind shift, they all follow. If it goes this
Yeah.
way, they all follow. You
Mm,
will be that oak tree, and they get to look back and be like, "Wait, how come? How come she's over there? She's not blowing around. What do I need to do to be like that?" That's how we also create change in the world.
mm.
By setting an
Yeah.
example.
That's how I really came up with like my. I created a short ebook called the Trust Codes and how to navigate life's any of life's storms. Really through my own journey. Like it was so much going on around me, but I had to figure out how to stay anchored through it all and
Yes,
trust in the path, even
yes,
when everyone, like literally, the world was burning down. Like,
yeah,
"Ah,
yeah,
what is happening?" Um, but just remaining grounded and rooted in who I am,
yes,
and actually accepting the fact that destiny is a thing.
yeah,
And yeah, like wow, um, and just realizing that a lot of people could benefit from this because when life happens, it's so easy to get caught up in the storm,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Um, so, like you said, you have to be that oak tree, and also you have to find the lighthouse,
yeah,
that North Star. And
yeah,
so, yeah, I was like, yeah, I really had to go through so much, and my trust, faith, and belief got me through, even
yeah,
though it's a whole storm. I can't see,
yeah.
I can't see the lighthouse at all. but I have to just close my eyes and go with the flow.
Yeah.
And yeah, but
Yeah.
it is a whole process to that, you know.
Absolutely.
So
I wanted to
yeah.
say, since we're talking about spending time to get to know ourselves, like I can hear, but I don't want to be selfish. Does that mean that I need to be selfish? And is there's a difference between selfishness and doing the work on yourself. One is that you're not doing it and saying, well, it's all about me, it's my world, I don't care about you or anything that's going on out there. It's like you are fully absorbed in your own self, but it's not even in a deeper self, right? There's no root to it. It's just like, it's me, my world, that's it. That's selfishness. When you're
Mm-hmm.
working on yourself, you're saying, I'm getting to know me so that when I meet someone else, I can fully be there to
Mm-hmm.
experience who they are and take in their wisdom too. It's different. Like you can
Yeah.
feel it. It's different. Like the more you work on yourself, you actually open up to the connection of the oneness, because again, it brings you more into that oneness. So if what you're doing is taking you away from the oneness, that's selfishness. If what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing is bringing you more into that connection with everyone else, where you feel the love, and that's, you're doing the job. You're doing the
Right.
working on your own mystery. Yeah. So, and also doing the things that bring you joy is not selfishness. Doing the things that bring you joy, again, so far as what you're doing, is not at someone else's expense or harming yourself or someone, right? We're talking about, I'm gonna take time to journal every day because it helps me clear my mind and it helps me feel better. It's just as simple
Mm,
as that, right? And when I feel better, guess what, everyone around me will get to experience that.
yes.
That's why you are choosing to do the things that bring you joy, because it will amplify the joy within you, or let's just say the positive vibes. Let's just bring it that way. It's going to
Yeah.
amplify that, which means that everyone that comes into your energy will get to be blessed by that. That's why. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like to say I'm self-indulgent, but also selfless.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
yeah, because you know it can get misconstrued
Yeah.
as selfishness
Yes.
when I do like to spend a lot of time alone.
Mm.
I do enjoy my own company, but
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I'm working on bringing people in. You know.
I do the same thing. I love my own company. I am not afraid to be alone. It's aloneness. It's the sacred aloneness versus loneliness. And the
Mm,
more you know yourself, you tend to step into that realm of aloneness. I'm not afraid to be with myself, because you realize there's so much more to you, and it's so interesting. You don't feel alone with yourself, if that makes
no,
sense. It's
I like
different vibes.
really.
So yeah,
I'm so
I
entertained.
don't mind being by myself. Yeah, I love it because I can be with myself. I can hear myself. I can
Hmm.
feel what my heart is saying to me. Like the message becomes so clear. Why wouldn't I want more of that? So I
Yeah.
do that so that I can be a clear channel to whatever needs to come through. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. I got my own little world,
Yes.
and it's very exciting and
Yes.
entertaining, right? Because also in that, it's like when you spend a lot of time going inward, it's an act of connecting with the universal forces because
Yes.
that's who we are.
Yep.
And so you're not alone. Once you do that, you start connecting to all types of stuff.
Yes.
You need to
Exactly.
be discerning and put in, you know, but you open yourself up to just so much. Like you said, it's exciting. It's like you know, I'm in this whole other dimension.
I was thinking about, like, what if you are connecting to your own source self, which is connected to source of all that is, right? Yes, we are open to everything, but it's not everything that gets to come to us, if that makes sense. It's only that which is in alignment with you, only that which is in the same energy as source. If it is not of the unconditional love of source is not coming near you. So you, especially if someone is a psychic or a channel or a medium, you have to be you have to be anchored, you have to be centered in
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're open to things that you don't even understand, that can,
Exactly.
you don't, like I said, we were talking at the beginning about some dark that we have no business getting into. When you're so open like that and you're like, you're not anchored, you're not, your roots are not in the ground, your channel is not connected to the heart of source, and you're just kind of blowing everywhere, that could be very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
When you anchor,
Talk
when you
about
are
it.
centered in yourself, whatever comes in that central channel to you is meant to come through, and they have to go
Right.
through divine to get to you. So if they don't have a good intentions, guess what? They're not coming anywhere near close to you, because divine light is like, oh no, no, sorry, that's not her thing. You
Mm.
don't vibe with us, right?
Right.
It's a protection too. This is one of the reasons why it's important to do that, right? It's protection. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but no, I totally agree with that. Because I've always felt like, yeah, I'm like protected. Definitely, I know that I am. As a youth, I did a lot of stupid things, full energy, right? It was
Mm,
just me, just being pure and embracing life. Um, but, like for instance, in my youth, from like my late teens to my early to mid 20s, one of my favorite pastimes used to be walking around the streets and meeting random people on the streets, talking to them, hanging out with them, and
yeah.
just really vibing with people. But I would say to the young kids, maybe it's not the best to go out on the
Exactly.
streets and
Not
meet
in this day and
strangers.
age.
Okay, yeah, no. So yeah, don't do that.
Oh,
But for me, I mean, I was able to connect with so many people. Like my favorite things, hanging out with the homeless people, hanging out with the drunks, and and really talking to them and learning their stories. And that's when I realized like many people are one tragedy away from being just like them. So who are we to judge
man.
these people? And
Yeah.
so that changed my whole perspective. So yeah, that was one of my like I loved hanging out with the homeless people. And I remember when I was, or should I say misplaced, but I remember when I went to school, university in Pittsburgh, and we used to hang out at the park a lot. And it was this whole community of, misplaced people in the park. And because I used to hang out there every day, they would always come over to me, ask me if I need anything. You okay? You hungry? This, and that. I'm like, these people, they don't even have anything,
Yeah.
but they're going out of their way. They don't even know me. They see me every day and they're just like checking, are you all right? You need anything?
Yeah.
And so even in that time, I didn't have to worry about anything in my life. When I think about it, I've always been protected.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Absolutely. Wow.
yeah, I thought that was also great for helping me see people as nobody's better than anyone else,
It's
and
true.
learning their stories. Like I said, like some of these people were like at the top of the game, and just a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
Of course, life lessons. So there's reasons for it all, but yeah, like you gotta respect people.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It's quite an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot. I remember this one time. Uh, Now, some people will be like, "Oh, well, it's just fasting," but when you don't have any intention on fasting, you're starving.
Yes, you're
I,
starving. Yes.
yeah, I remember something happened with my food card at my university, and so for 3 days I didn't have access to food, water,
Oh,
anything. And then it was the holiday, so my parents couldn't send me any money, and so it was like 3 days. I didn't eat. I remember I did get tested twice. One time it was late at night. I was walking down the street. There's a guy walking in front of me, and he dropped money out his pocket. And I slowed down immediately. And I was like, I'm so hungry. And I
No.
said, you know what? Nope. Just, and he stopped. He saw it, and he kept walking. I like almost cried. I was like, you know. And then the next day, I was walking. Now this was going into like day number 4, so
Yeah.
I was really like, I need to eat something. And
Yes.
it used to be a business park next to my campus, and there on the table was like a half-eaten hot dog, and then in the trash can there was like a drink that was half drunken. And I was like, well, maybe if I don't even eat the hot dog, I can like drink the drink, and you know, I'm so thirsty at this point. And I said, you know what, it's gonna be all right. We're just gonna we're gonna ride this out. And so the next day was actually the holiday, Labor Day, and everything opened up on the holiday, which was weird because I'm like, why did it close before and then you open up on a holiday? I don't know.
Yeah.
But finally I was able to get access to the money my dad sent me, and I'm going to the store to go pick it up, and this guy walks up to me and he's like, hey, now Pittsburgh is a really party city, and so they were throwing a Labor Day parade, so it was like lit on the streets. And he's like, what are you about to do? And I'm like, well, I'm just going to come in here and pick up this money real quick. And he was like, you want to hang out with us? And I was like, well, sure. You know, because that's what I like to do, meet people and hang out. So that entire day, I did not have to spend a dime.
Oh,
Yeah, he took care of everything and left me with money after it. I'm like, I don't even know you. Um, but yes, I was like, well, I guess that's like the blessing for not
wow.
uh, giving in to uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
all that to say,
Whew.
yeah, it gets easier on the other side. And if you hold out the blessings, like I was amazed. I'm like, all this, and I didn't have to spend a dime. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you know, it's always like on the other side.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Wow. What an experience. And to be able to look back and reflect on it. That's where the golden nugget is, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which also made me a little. I'm like a bit anal with people, right? Because I don't believe in food waste now. Because I'm like, listen, I had to
Mm.
starve for 3, almost 4 days. If you come to me and be like, "There's no food in the house," and I look in the cabinet and I see this, this, and that, oh, you're tripping. You know, I respect that.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so if energy blocks had a physical form, what would yours look like right now?
Hmm. Hmm. That's a very interesting question. What would mine look like? Not sure. That's very interesting.
Let's see if I give you some sound effects. It might help.
I think I'm trying to I think it's a hard question for me because it would be different if I didn't identify my blocks and work on it.
Mm.
Like, it's a constant work that I'm on it, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think this would be a good example. So, in my family, if there's 4 sisters, I'm the oldest, and I'm the only one who's curvy. Like all my sisters, like African women, like I'm the one who's curvy, and I spent a lot of time like trying to figure it out. Like why am I the one who inherited that, or
Mm.
what is it that I took on, basically, and
Mm.
having to dissect that. But what it comes down with, if this would be an energy blockage, it would be mine would be protection. I created a physical protection around me, which is the excess fat around my body, if that makes sense.
Mm. Mm,
So physically, that's the manifestation. And so for me, that's something I have been working on, is like reminding myself you are safe, but also finding
mm,
where I feel safe, if that makes
mm,
sense. My inner self needs to feel safe. My inner child needs to feel safe, in order for me to to shed the outward or the physical manifestation of the protection that I've created around me.
yeah.
And throughout the years, the more I do this work, it's like a I can see the weight go down and then it'll come up a
Mm,
little bit, and so I can tell
mm,
when I don't feel safe in the world, because I create that physical protection. And it is an what word did you say? I think you said an energy blockage,
mm,
because I don't, if for me to be in, it's something that is in excess. I don't need that. Like my inner child needs to understand that, like
mm,
you were saying, like I am safe. I am
mm,
safe. Like we're no longer where all of that happened. We are here. We made it here, right? So yeah, that would be an example, because it is an ongoing journey of really helping myself feel safe on this planet. It comes down to that. And also, I think my inner child is a spirit being. I'm very comfortable with the spiritual realm. I'm very comfortable with, hence why when I saw your spaceship, I was like, I'm going home. Like that's my reality. And being on this planet, being human, is one of the hardest things for me. And so just physically existing here, it's like all the alarms are constantly like blurring, and I need to, which is my journey here, merging, bringing heaven here, and be like, it doesn't matter that I'm human, I can still feel safe just like I am when I'm up there, if that makes sense.
mm, mhm.
Yeah, it's like bringing heaven down. So again, it's a journey of,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm moving through this journey, and as I learn, I teach others so that they don't have to go through what I went through. But yeah,
exactly.
it's a fascinating journey.
I think it's representative of, if you're familiar with tarot, the hermit, right?
Yes.
And how that light is lighting the path for others, but the
Yes.
hermit had to climb the mountain first.
Yep.
The story of the hermit. So yeah, I think that's pretty much like you said what teachers do. Teachers are the ones who have to go through the journey
Yes.
and really struggle, climb their way to the top,
Yeah.
and just by existing,
Yes.
that light shines and lights the way for others. So
Exactly.
yeah, I love that. And also, yeah, I can like relate, right? Because as far as what you were saying about, the manifestation showing out physically,
Yes.
my body, right, was telling me, so you need to rest. And I'm like, rest, what are you talking about? I got so much to do. And it's like, you need to rest, but all right. And now I got the space cooties.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Your body's like, you're not going to listen to me? I'll make you. It
Yep.
happens
Yep.
so many times.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's one of the things my body will usually always tell me when I'm veering off course, because
Yes.
like I said, I never get sick,
Yeah.
but here we are.
It's a beautiful compass if we listen to the body. Again, it's like full circle, right? Listening to
Mhm.
the body and the wisdom of the body. If we do, we can figure out where the imbalance is, where the blockage is. It will show us exactly where it is so that we can begin doing the work. And again, the
Mhm.
work is not something that you do one time and it's done. There's layers to it. It's a journey. It is a
Oh,
journey. I'm going to repeat that again. It
yeah.
is a journey. Take your time
Yes, the
and
journey is
just
over
give
when you're
yourself
dead.
love. Yeah,
Mhm.
compassion for yourself. It is a journey that we're all on. Yeah.
And one thing I say, and you know, hope no one out there in the world takes offense to it, but if you do, work on your own stuff. I feel like the only time you master this life is once you transition.
Mm.
There are no Earth masters. I'm just saying, because if
I
you were,
mean,
you
there
wouldn't be
are.
here. Yeah,
There
yeah.
are, but that's because they had already they've come here many times, been there, done that, and they chose to just come back again just to guide, just to be that light. That's it. Like that's what they
Yeah,
chose. There's few of
I
them, and
guess. Yeah, sort of.
when you meet them, you know, because they're not like a regular human being. Like their
Mm,
attention, their focus is all about being that light, that
mm.
hermit light, showing the path. Like that is their focus. Nothing else matters. So
Ah,
they're different. They're very
ah,
different when you meet them, and again, it's very few of them. I
okay,
feel like that's
yes.
one of the blessings we have on this planet, when masters incarnate to come and physically guide us,
Mm.
you
Yeah,
know.
I guess, I'm someone, if I haven't experienced it, then so for me, right?
It's
But
a
I
good
can
one, yeah.
totally,
It's
yeah,
good.
but I totally understand. And you know what? Even in that breath, you actually are absolutely right, right? And I'll take it back to where you were saying, uh, Earth masters reincarnating on this planet, and then
Yes,
also understanding and feeling like you also come from somewhere else in the universe, right? And
exactly.
so I, like you, when I came into this world, I was like, I totally don't get people. Like, I don't like, what is this? I just couldn't.
Exactly.
It
I
took me a
still say it.
long time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, listen, I don't know what's going on, but you gonna have to take me back, And
Oh
I
man, yeah.
literally spent my whole life just head up in the stars.
Yeah.
And I actually did a shamanic meditation a
Yes.
few years ago, and it turned into like a past life regression. And in that, I was like, oh, they about to tell me that I'm from this planet out in here doing that. And then I met them and they was like, so, you kind of been here for like the beginning. And I was like, wait, that don't even make sense. How is that even possible? I don't even understand people. And they're like, yeah, it's a thing where you can do something so much that
Yes.
you become detached.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, like
Been here, done that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that is something that I didn't expect to hear. Um, but yeah, I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, yeah, okay.
But also think about it this way. Like the example that I set is like having, like a great master actually incarnate, and like when you're in the energy, like totally you're a great master, like that, which is rare. But to be honest, we are all masters, aren't we? With the exception of the newborn or
The new
new
ones, yeah.
incarnate,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like first
Yeah,
time on earth.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
baby
yeah.
baby humans, the
Yes,
first
yes,
time on
yes,
earth, and they're
yes.
baby souls,
And you could tell them
those.
right away. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, they're here to bring joy. That they have such
yes.
a beautiful light to them. It just, yeah, their purpose is quite beautiful and needed. But most of us have been here many times, and not even just here, other planets, other
Yeah, yeah.
dimensions. Like we've had a lot of soul experiences that we came in as masters. Masters means that you've walked a path and actually mastered it, and then you bring in that wisdom to the next one. Many of you, if you're listening to this, I wouldn't be surprised if you're a soul master.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't get a crown. It's
Mm-mm.
like taking an exam, a very hard exam, and getting 100. And you're like, yeah, I'm done with that, so now I'm this, right? It's more about what you learned on your journey, and then how you are using it in the next one. That's what mastery is. It's the
Mm-hmm.
mastery
Yeah.
of the self, of the soul, the growth of the soul. What have you learned? What are you teaching others? Even in this lifetime, think about things that you've learned, that you teach people that you thought everybody knew, but they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It
Yeah.
looks like you're the only one with the wisdom. They've never
Mm-hmm.
heard anyone tell them before, right? We are all masters in our own way. It just
Mm-hmm.
looks different because we've all We've been here. We've mastered certain components of life, and we came here with that. And when we're ready, we get to teach it, or we teach
Mm.
it without even knowing that we're teaching it.
Yeah,
Maybe our
yeah.
very presence inspires someone in that way. But we're all masters in our own way, and that's another thing. Like coming back to when you tap into the knowing yourself, you will realize this truth. You realize that I am a master in terms of that. And perhaps when you do past life regression, you go to the lives where you mastered certain things. For
Mm-hmm.
example, in the healing field, my one of my background is Chinese medicine. You know, you meet people who are amazing when it comes to the herbal medicine, and they're
Mm-hmm.
so natural at it. It's not because they did it this lifetime, just it, because some of them, that was the first time they were coming to school for it, and yet it's like they've known it all their lives. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they've mastered it. They've had many lifetimes of being a healer, working with the earth, healing others, making poultices, making herbal, like they've been doing it for many lifetimes. So when they come here, they need a refresher, so maybe they go to school, but that's going to awaken that true master within them, and then all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden they're like, whoo, excelling in it. We're all
Mm-hmm.
masters in something. You need to
Mm-hmm.
discover what that is and then bring that and share with the world. That's the whole purpose of that.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that because, if you actually take it back to our genetic makeup, we all have been here from the
Yes.
beginning, right? Nothing dies. Um, it's just constantly, regenerating. I can't
Yeah.
think of a word right now, space cooties. Um, but yeah, but we have been everywhere in this universe. Um, we're there right now. We can pull from any timeline,
Yes.
and so yeah. At least for me, I'm just like, it really took me a long time to even like people. So I just be like, you know what? And then you out here calling yourself a master role, like no, yeah. I just don't
You're like,
trust that.
get
I
out of
don't trust
here.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
and
but
that's
you're
the
right.
thing.
You're right.
There's something in there. A true master usually don't call themselves masters. They
That I
don't
think
even know they're masters
that's
most of
what
the
it is.
time.
I
Yeah.
I don't like that
Yeah.
because I don't know why. I just feel like it kind of comes off as, because Jesus didn't go around talking about,
Saying that,
oh,
yeah,
I'm Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
Yep. That came in
So,
like later when
right,
other people called him that.
called
Yeah.
him that.
Yep.
But for you to say, well, but hey, that's just something, I guess, we all human. We all got our
Oh,
little
yes.
things.
Yep.
And for me, that's like, I don't, but as I said earlier, I never understood,
Yeah.
having idols or anything like that. So I guess
Yeah.
that ties into that.
And you can feel it. You can feel a master soul from miles away. You can feel it. Like you can feel them before you even see them. Like they don't even have to speak it out. Like you will know. It's just there. Like it's part of the imprint. It's like they're here to teach something. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they've learned something so good that it's just they're ready to teach. You feel it.
Yes,
You feel
yes,
a
and I
master
and I have
soul.
known those
Yeah.
people. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There you go. Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, we've traveled the verse on Earth. We travel the universe here, and in the end, I feel like the one thing we can take away from this, because, as you said, if you are tuning into this, then you are absolutely meant to be here. You are ready and open to receiving these transmissions. It's not a podcast, or it's not just a podcast. These are transmissions meant to reach the people who are aligned with it on the same frequency. So, if you're here, you're meant to be here. Well, yes. And I hope that you can take away from this the fact that one, you're awesome, right? You have so many powers within you that are just waiting to be activated, you know. Two, trust yourself. It's okay to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Um, we have intuition for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was in school, I was studying to be a cognitive and behavioral psychologist. And in one of my classes, the guy was saying how instinct and intuition isn't real for humans. And I'm like,
Mm.
that is like, how could you say that? Like, there's been so many times where anytime I follow my intuition, it is never wrong.
Yeah.
But when I question and try
Yes.
to, then that's where things get a little murky.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, we really have this great internal compass. And if we can just learn to block out the noise,
Mm.
and like I said, I've been lucky enough to be able to exist in a bubble. I do understand that. Um, but yeah, but we can all create these safe spaces for ourselves. You
Exactly.
know, I grew up with a lot of siblings, so it can be a whole bunch of people in the room, and I won't hear nothing
Yep.
because I grew up with a lot of siblings. You know, but we can all create that environment for ourselves, and yeah, I think tapping into all the resources, like this life is so abundant. There's so many things we can pull from.
Yeah.
Um, Even just a fleeting moment, like, I don't know, you see a sign when you're driving, or somebody smiles at you a certain way when you needed it just in that moment. I remember I was walking in the store the other day, and this lady, like, I swear, this lady opened a door for me, and it was actually my birthday. She opened the door for me and said, "Oh, here you go, happy birthday." I'm like, wait a second, I don't know this lady. What in the world did she just say? Like, how, I was like, okay, wow, thank you. That's It's those little moments, but that was weird. But
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that experience. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's so much beauty in life, and it really starts by going inward. Once we can block out everything, we can really tap in to everything. You know.
Yeah.
Um, so, what message would you want to leave our fellow cosmic travelers with?
Yeah. We've spent this whole time talking about going within, knowing who you are, navigating this life from that place, being the oak tree, fully anchored into your earth, the earth, and into the heaven, branches reaching into the heaven, knowing who you are, being okay with knowing who you are. Um, One of the things I feel like from this year moving forward, I'm giving you a little glimpse here. We're really going to be feeling this pull to go within. I feel like the previous years we were being babied into, hey, come here. It's like this gentle pull inside, but right now it's becoming non-negotiable. And this year, if you want to find your peace, this is one of the first messages that came in for me.
Mm,
If you want to find your peace, it's time for you to grab, like, unhook your plug from the world. It doesn't mean that you're taking anything from the world. You're just saying that that's not where my energy lies. That's not where my sustenance lies. That's not where like my livelihood lies, and then plugging it into yourself.
mm,
Remove the plug from the world, come back to yourself, and then discover your own self, how you can nourish yourself, how you can fill yourself back up. And like, even taking the action of doing one thing every day that brings you joy. It does not have to be complicated. Keep it simple. Can be reading a
mm,
little, like a paragraph in a book that you freaking love. It might be
mm,
cooking your favorite meal. It might be, I don't know, putting on music, dance. It does not have
mm,
to be something big, but do the one thing. If you can do one thing a day that brings you the most joy, you will be going. in the right direction of your own path.
Mm,
And you will find your peace because you're unplugging from the world and plugging into you. So let's really just dedicate to doing that, plugging
mhm.
into ourselves
Yes.
and using the energy and the time to discover our own mysteries. What makes us unique? What makes us beautiful? What is it within us that we're here to share with the world? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. And also, I think that many people are open to receiving this. I think that we have entered into a new time, and so people are trying to figure it out. They're
Yes.
like, "Oh, literally see the world on fire right now. So where do we go from here?"
Yeah.
And like you said, going inward,
Yes.
uh, really recognizing what is it that you have to offer uh, this world, this life, and it doesn't have to be like
Yeah.
purpose has become this whole thing. Like, oh, my purpose. Well, what am I here to do? And it's like you could be here to be the best trash man ever, you know.
Yeah. Your
And
purpose.
listen,
Your
it's nice
purpose is your
to
beingness.
have a
Yeah.
trash man that's not going to dump your trash and break your will every time, because they care about their job. So little things like that, like
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
be here to, I don't know, make the best ice cream,
Yeah.
which that would be amazing, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you feel like overwhelmed, overflowing with energy and love and excitement is that thing for you, you know?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, my fellow Voyagers, this cosmic encounter is coming to a close. But before we drift into the vastness of space, uh, how can what advice would you give, other than like you just said, going inward? Yes, to help people reclaim their magic and step into their highest timeline.
There's so much I can talk on that, but I'm getting I'm getting this. Until you have discovered your own mystery, it will be hard for you to go beyond you,
Mm,
because everything that you're going to receive up there needs to anchor somewhere. So if you
mm,
don't have this together, it's just hanging out here. It's not going to do you any good.
mm.
Focus. What I'm getting is, let's focus on here. Can you come into here? Because once this is good, the rest will follow. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're so right. And on that note, where does the universe take you next?
Hmm. um, hmm. It's so many different paths. But right now, the one that I'm doing, so I do have, I talked about supporting empaths. So I have a container for empaths, and I teach them the tools so that they can go from surviving in the world
Mm,
to actually thriving, which
mm,
entails a big part of that membership is know who you are as an empath. Why do you even have that gift? That's huge. And then just unlocking everything from there. And I'm very passionate with that. So yeah, if you're an empath, if you're someone who, whether a healer, an intuitive, someone who works with energy or feels energy, and you want to understand that about you, I would love to invite you to come join us. Yeah.
absolutely. There is a QR code on the screen. If you scan this QR code, it would take you to all of her links. So definitely check her out. But thank you so much for tuning in to the Ethereal Voyager. It's been such a pleasure, and you helped me feel a little better because I was like half dead trying to get this together. But I'm like, no, I really, I'm looking forward to this. I feel
I'm
like this will
very
make me feel
impressed.
better.
Well done.
Thank you. Yes. So, until next time, Cosmic Travelers, awaken, ascend, activate. Who knew Star and Dust could talk like that? Loved it.
Wisdom from the stars. Transmission complete.
Where to next, Arden?
Next destination, the infinite field, where form dissolves, time forgets itself, and all that ever was simply is.